In a matter of days' time, the 5 double-handed Class 40s in the Global Ocean Race will set off on leg 3 from Wellington, New Zealand to Punta del Este in Uruguay. This will take them across the Pacific Ocean in the high latitudes, round Cape Horn and through the South Atlantic, which is around 6,300 miles of really hard sailing, approximately 31 days. Here in Wellington, there's been frantic activity, masks going in, masks going out, a lot of preparation for this very demanding leg. Josh, it's been quite frantic here, I think.
Well, yes indeed, and Wellington was chosen by us as a very, very good place for the boats to come, both geographically as the halfway point in their circumnavigation, and also because the marine industry here in Wellington and in New Zealand in general is par excellence, and the guys have actually had an enormous amount of help from the local marine industry as they get ready for this very, very tough leg. They'll be heading further south than they have done in the previous leg. They've got to get around Cape Horn, notorious for its rough weather. And then as they get back into the relative safety of the South Atlantic, they're going to probably face an upwind fight to get to Punta del Este. So a whole variety of conditions that they're going to face. Very, very important that they are meticulous in their preparations. Certainly all of the boats have been doing various levels of refit work and improving their boats, and there's been a real thrust on making sure that general maintenance is really on top of and carried out to a very, very high degree. So yes, they've all been very busy, and the 5 boats have been very welcomed here in Wellington. The local rigging service over at Duffy's Rigging and Hakes Marine in particular have really been helping the guys. And they really have caught the spirit of what these guys and girls are doing on this race, which is a fabulous competitive adventure around the world. So all in all of the boats are really funneling towards an area of very, very good preparation by the end of this week.
It is phenomenally reassuring that there are 3 Aquilarias in here. There's one Verdier designed Taika 40, there's a Fino Conch Pogo 40 S2, and there's been no horrific issues. I mean, some of the repairs, particularly Phesheya-Racing, looked a bit ugly, but it actually was not a showstopper, and that makes the choice of Class 40 actually really very impressive.
Well, they continue to impress us and the sailors. This is the 2nd edition of the Global Ocean Race. In the last race we had some Open 40s and some Class 40s. The Class 40s in the last race proved to be so reliable structurally and so strong and yet so fast, and they're definitely proving that again in this edition of the Global Ocean Race. I think it's very, very impressive and a real testimony to the design and construction of these boats, as well as to the way that they're being sailed by these very, very talented sailors. Some of our sailors are full-on professionals, have had a lifetime racing race boats around the world. Others are keen amateurs who have come to the race and are looking to become professional sailors. And so they're all being pushed very hard, these boats. They're not holding back, and they've been through some very, very tough sea and wind conditions in leg 2, and completely impressive how the boats have stood up to it. I think the race is a lot harder on the skippers than it is on the boats, to be quite frank.
I mean, the final stages before they head off in a few days' time, safety gear, which is paramount. I know Sylvie Viant, your co-race director, is going to start going around scrutineering and re-scrutineering the boats and checking gear, and that seems to be a pretty successful process as well.
Well, indeed, we have very strict safety regulations with the race, as do all round the world races, and Sylvie is absolutely black and white about everything on board. There's no skimping on the part of the skippers. Everything for safety was brought very much into focus at the end of the last leg for everybody, where there was a man overboard incident on board Cessna, and it certainly is going to focus the minds of everybody of personal safety on board. And these boats have all of the right equipment to deal with a situation like that and to avoid it. So safety paramount, and being very heavily respected by ourselves and by all of our skippers. I have to say that safety is their primary concern over and above winning the race.
Thank you. You must be looking forward to seeing them go.
Well, it's always fantastic to have them here, and we love them all dearly, and it's fantastic to see them, watching them have this grand adventure around the world. and the way that they're connecting with the local community is just very warming. And of course we're going to miss them, but of course we're here for the race, they're here for the race, and they and us will be very pleased to see them all firing across the start line on Sunday.
Josh Hall, thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.